When you're talking about the most brutal weapon in the world today, it's gotta be the nuke. The two giant mushroom clouds the Americans planted in Japan are proof enough. But you're telling me building a nuke is hard? What's so hard about it? Sometimes you gotta look in the mirror, you know? After all these years, has tech progressed? Have you actually put in the research? Setting hydrogen bombs aside, the principle behind atomic bombs is dead simple. As long as you can get your hands on uranium ore, you could whip one up in your own garage. The only real technical challenge is just figuring out how to safely store the uranium you bought. And if you want to imagine an even more brutal weapon, as we covered in an earlier video, comparing antimatter weapons to nukes is like comparing my net worth to Jack Ma's. Jack Ma, don't compare looks with me. We're not even in the same league. Anything more high-end than that is hard to picture. After all, it's tough to imagine something you've never seen. Same logic. The ancients couldn't picture what modern firearms would look like either. That's why Zhuge Liang could only borrow the East Wind. He couldn't have borrowed an East Wind missile. Looking at it this way, those sci-fi movie scenes where two starships line up and trade fire face to face look pretty ridiculous. You're fighting an interstellar war using medieval pirate tactics. So most sci-fi movies seem pretty short on imagination. When it comes to future weapons, the best they come up with is more powerful. Longer range, more accurate stuff, like sniping the alien gunner from 800 light years away. If you ask me, the weapons used in future interstellar wars definitely won't be guns that shoot farther or cannons with more power. They'll be weapons on a higher level entirely. For example, the physical law weapons we're talking about today. A law here means a rule that holds true throughout the entire universe. For us Earthlings, the speed of light is 300,000 kilometers per second. For the Trisolarans, it's also 300,000 kilometers per second. That's a law. All those weapons we just mentioned are using physical laws to hit the enemy, either through thermal energy, or radiation, or kinetic energy. The Trisolaran droplet just rams things directly. Nothing fancy, just rock-solid impact. You can see that high-end weapons often use the most primitive form of attack. Take Tetsuya Yamagami of Japan, for example. His most primitive homemade shotgun opened Abe's chest right up, didn't it? And as the saying goes, when it comes to courage among Japanese men, once Yamagami takes 12 measures of it, everyone else is 2 measures in the red. So the droplet is using physical laws, too, relying on kinetic energy to destroy targets. From this angle, the droplet and Master Ma's Lightning 5-strike whip aren't all that different. Both are impacts. The only real difference is the droplet is rock hard, while Master Ma's hand is just a tiny bit on the soft side. Honestly, the entire process of human civilization advancing is the process of discovering and applying these laws. From rocks and burning sticks, all the way up to missiles like the Tsar Bomba. They're all leveraging physical laws. So you could say the bamboo pole that conked Shimin Ching on the head was a gravitational weapon, or that the rock you throw at someone is a quantum cluster directional transition kinetic cannon. But the law-based weapons we're talking about aren't just about applying physical laws. They modify physical laws, basically rewriting the universe's underlying code. For example, the two-vector foil from the three-body problem, which turns the entire solar system into a flat work of art. That's what real dimensional reduction looks like. Or take a weapon that could change Earth's gravity. We wouldn't even bother fighting back. Just surrender on the spot. The average person can handle 2 to 3 Gs of acceleration at most. Astronauts can briefly handle up to 8 or 9 Gs, and even that turns a fresh-faced young woman into a wrinkled old grandma. If Earth got cranked up to 100 Gs, everybody would get squashed into pancakes. We'd all look like Boyakao. And the reason the droplet we mentioned is so insanely hard is that the Trisolarans used the strong nuclear force to crush countless protons and neutrons together with no gaps. Basically, they've turned the droplet into one giant atomic nucleus. That's why it's so hard. But if we busted out a law-based weapon and just erased the strong nuclear force inside the droplet, it wouldn't be able to stay hard. Bite into it and it'd be like an almond cookie. If we had that kind of trick up our sleeve, those Trisolarans could swallow Ultraman's gallbladder and still wouldn't dare come for Earth. From then on, the tables would totally turn. We'd be able to go anywhere they could. There's a sci-fi novel called The Orion Defense Line, which features an alien civilization that builds a defense line 1,000 light years long to block humanity. Inside the line, the speed of light is artificially increased, so the moment a human fleet enters, it disintegrates because the change in light speed alters electromagnetic forces. That's a textbook physical law weapon. The interstellar wall built from low light speed black holes in the three-body problem is a similar concept. Looking at it this way, conventional weapons are like playing a game and constantly crafting better gear. But overall, you're still inside the game's framework. Physical law weapons are like playing the game with a cheat engine on. How do you even compete with that? So there's actually some logic to people who think the universe is a simulation. All physical laws would just be the underlying code of this virtual world, and we'd be locked inside it. If that's really the case, that's pretty terrifying. No matter how advanced future tech gets, we'll never build physical law weapons, because the player can run a cheat engine, But does an NPC inside the game get to run one? Hit the like button and may you get blessed with another scare.